The first rule they drilled into me before the summit was simple: do not touch the Queen. Not her hands. Not her robes. Not the air around her if you could help it. Queen Aerolin of the Virex Dominion was not just royalty, she was a living symbol, a being whose presence alone could destabilize negotiations or ignite wars. Her species communicated through layered protocols of posture, distance, and energy fields. One wrong move from a human delegate could be interpreted as dominance, insult, or, worse, intent. That was why I was nervous. I wasn't a diplomat by training. I was an engineer. A systems negotiator brought in because the Dominion stargates were failing, and I was one of the few humans who understood the ancient hybrid tech that powered them. I had fixed machines my whole life. I had never tried to fix a political catastrophe. The council chamber aboard the neutral station Helia Prime was enormous, carved from obsidian alloy and lit by slow-moving bands of starlight. Delegations from 12 species sat in carefully arranged arcs, each positioned according to treaties older than Earth's written history. And beside me, far closer than protocol suggested, sat the Queen. She arrived without fanfare. No guards. No announcement. Just a subtle shift in the air, like gravity leaning toward her. Her form was tall, elegant, draped in layered silver-blue fabric that seemed to move even when she was still. Her skin shimmered faintly, not glowing, but reflecting emotion in ways human skin never could. When she took her seat, there was a murmur across the chamber. She sat too close. I noticed it immediately. Our chairs were separated by barely a hand's width. I considered shifting away, but moving first could be interpreted as rejection. Staying still could be seen as acceptance. So I did the most human thing possible. I froze. The meeting began. Representatives spoke of failing gates, collapsing trade routes, entire systems drifting toward isolation. The Queen listened in silence, her posture perfect, her gaze forward. Occasionally, she inclined her head, a gesture that sent subtle ripples through the energy field around her. I focused on the holotable, on the data streams, on anything but the awareness of her presence. Then I made my mistake. I reached for my datapad. As I leaned slightly to the side, my hand slipped off the armrest and brushed against something warm and solid. Her hip? For half a second, my brain refused to process it. Then reality crashed in. My hand jerked back as if I'd touched live plasma. I sucked in a sharp breath, heart slamming against my ribs. The chamber went silent. Queen Aerolin froze. Not metaphorically. Literally. Her entire body locked in place, every muscle rigid. The faint shimmer of her skin flared suddenly bright, flushing from pale silver to a deep, radiant blue. Shock. Embarrassment. And something else I couldn't name. Every delegate in the room stared. I stood up so fast my chair skidded backward. Your Majesty, I blurted, I apologize, I didn't intend, it was an accident. Her eyes finally turned toward me. They were wide. The energy field around her rippled violently, sending a pressure wave through the chamber that rattled the holotable and knocked several delegates back in their seats. The guards moved instantly, weapons half raised. The Queen lifted one trembling hand. Stop, she said. Her voice was calm. Her aura was not. I am unharmed, she continued, choosing her words carefully. The human delegate committed no act of aggression. Whispers erupted. I wanted the floor to open up and swallow me. The Queen rose slowly to her feet. The color beneath her skin shifted again, softer now, but still vivid. The session is adjourned, she announced. I require privacy. Without another word, she turned and left the chamber. I was escorted out immediately, politely, firmly, and under more watchful eyes than I'd ever experienced. By the time I reached my quarters, the station's internal networks were already buzzing. The human touched the Queen. The Queen reacted. Protocols breached. Meaning unclear. I sat on the edge of my bunk, staring at my hands like they had betrayed me. I was done. My career. The negotiations. Possibly Earth's standing with the Dominion. All because of a simple, stupid mistake. 3 hours later, a message arrived. Queen Aerolin requests your presence. Alone. I considered running. Instead, I went. Her private chamber was nothing like the council hall. It was smaller, warmer, filled with soft light that seemed to breathe. There were no guards inside. She stood near a viewport, gazing out at the stars. Approach, she said quietly. I took 3 careful steps forward and stopped, hands clasped behind my back. I offer my deepest apology, Your Majesty, I said. I understand if you misunderstand, she interrupted. She turned to face me. Her skin was calm now, the faint shimmer barely visible. But her eyes held a storm of emotion. What you did, she said, was not a breach of protocol. I blinked. It wasn't. It was, she corrected, a breach of distance. I frowned, unsure how that made things better. In my culture, she continued, physical proximity is not casual. It is regulated because it carries meaning. Intimacy. Vulnerability. Trust. My throat went dry. When your hand touched me, she said softly, my body reacted before my mind. That response has not occurred in centuries. Embarrassment burned across my face. I swear, I didn't mean. I know, she said quickly. That is what makes it disturbing. She walked closer, stopping just outside arm's reach. You showed no intent, she said. No desire. No claim. And yet, the reaction was real. I swallowed. I never wanted to disrespect you. I am not disrespected, she replied. I am unsettled. She studied me as if I were a puzzle she hadn't expected to encounter. Humans, she said slowly, are unpredictable. You form bonds quickly. You act without laid intent. You touch without meaning. Sometimes it means something, I said before I could stop myself. Her eyes flickered. Does it? She asked. The question hung between us. I think, I said carefully, sometimes meaning comes after the moment. Not before. She considered that. Then she surprised me. She sat down. Not on a throne. Not on a raised platform. On the edge of the low seating cushion beside her. Sit, she said. I hesitated. She raised one brow. Unless you fear repeating your mistake. Despite myself, I smiled nervously and sat, this time at a safe, respectful distance. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. Among my people, she said finally, queens do not experience embarrassment. We are trained from birth to master our responses. And today? I asked gently. Today, she admitted, I froze. There was no anger in her voice. Only wonder. That has not happened since I ascended the throne, she continued. Not during assassinations. Not during war councils. Not even when I sentenced my own kin. Her gaze softened. But one accidental touch from a human engineer undid me. I exhaled slowly. I'm sorry. No, she said. Do not apologize again. She stood, walking to the viewport once more. That moment revealed something dangerous, she said. To you. To me. To the Dominion. I joined her, standing beside, not touching. What did it reveal? I asked. That I am not as distant from your kind as I believed, she said. And that distance is the only thing protecting us from choices we are not prepared to face. The weight of her words settled heavily. The negotiations will continue, she said. You will remain the human delegate. I turned to her in shock. After this? Especially after this, she replied. Because I need to understand what happened. She looked at me, eyes steady. And so do you. The summit concluded 3 days later. The gates were stabilized. Trade resumed. The official records noted nothing unusual about the Queen's brief adjournment. Unofficially, everything had changed. Queen Aerolin requested my presence daily, not as a subordinate, not as a suspect, but as a conversational equal. We spoke of technology, culture, emotion, restraint. She asked questions no ruler had ever asked me before. About humans. About connection. About why a simple mistake could carry such weight. On the final day, as her delegation prepared to depart, she stopped me outside the docking bay. Our paths will cross again, she said. I hope so, I replied. She hesitated, then did something extraordinary. She stepped closer. Not close enough to touch. Close enough to acknowledge the space between us. This time, she said quietly, the distance is intentional. Then she turned and boarded her ship. As it vanished into hyperspace, I realized something profound. The galaxy would remember treaties and trade routes. But the Queen would remember the moment she froze, not from fear, not from power, but from feeling something unexpected. All because of a simple mistake.